Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty. Rowena Dooley asking Sol citizens to report for duty.
Greetings, and welcome. And I'm missing one of my people. This is Griffin Gaming, and welcome to the Soul Citizens. I am here today with a couple of my folks. Let me get him in here. Kelosal, how did I miss that? Oh, you know what? The program crashed, remember? Shoot.
Yes, it did.
Oh man. Okay, guys. You guys might see some strange, unprofessional stuff from me tonight, but I'm gonna have to work with it at this point because we're live. But anyway, welcome everybody to the Soul Citizens. I'm GriffinGamingRPG, and we're back again for another fun show with my co-host JadeStarwatchr. Jade, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Having a really good IE.
Yeah. You keeping your wallet in your pocket?
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that this year.
Okay, we'll have to talk about it next week on the IAE
Yeah, that'll
show,
be next
so
week.
You can give us the scoop, all right? And last but not least, we're skipping over Kalrati because we're hoping that he will drop in on the show tonight. He's traveling, but he said he's going to try to make it. And then we're going to go to the man on the end, the man from FLA, from Florida. What's up, Kelosal? How are you?
You're one and only Florida man. How you doing, guys?
Yeah, thank God. That's all we need is one. We don't need more than one on this show. Trust me. How you been, man?
Plenty of us with the shenanigans. We're doing fantastic.
Good.
Love the state. Love you guys. Good to be back.
I'm digging the background. I'm digging that shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, you're looking pretty sharp there, brother. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta put on the hibernation weight, and then I'll go ahead and take it off after January.
Okay. Well, anyway, welcome to everybody who's here watching us tonight. We know that IAE is going on, and you guys could be running around the convention center, but you decided to spend your evening with us, so we appreciate that. We have an interesting show today, and we've got some cool stuff coming up too. One of the things that's cool today is that we're doing a giveaway. We haven't done a giveaway in a little while, and so hopefully if you guys will be around for that, we're going to be doing a giveaway of a Drake ship. So hopefully you guys will be able to get one of the little ships and scoot around and have some fun with that. And then we got some other surprises for you as well. But we want to talk about today's topic, which was titled Stanton POI, Points of Interest. And we've been in Stanton since the beginning of this game. Well, we were in modules at one point, right, Jade? But now we're in Stanton, a system. And we thought that it would be kind of cool, as we're kind of all looking forward to the release of Pyro, to not just forget about Stanton in the sense of, we've just gotten used to it and comfortable with it, but to maybe talk about some of the highlight areas in the game. Also because there are a lot of people who are coming into Star Citizen now who are brand new, who have not been on the journey of development. And so some of the places that we shared today may be familiar to most of you, but there may be some of you who've never heard of these locations. So we want to kind of encourage you to visit these places and maybe give you some background history, tell you why we like these spaces, and hopefully you'll enjoy them, or you'll be able to say, yeah, I've been there before. So yeah, Fast Cart pre-Stanton, there was such a thing, right? You could say way back then when I was young, I know that there was a pre-Stanton. So we're going to go ahead and jump into it. Jade, you're like one of the good people, both you and Kelosal for that matter, on lore
Yes.
about Stanton. So what I want to do is kind of cover a little bit of the history, and then you guys can fill in any gaps that you think might be beneficial to everybody in regard to learning a little bit about Stanton and its lore. I think I've got one of the... I don't see it here. I'm telling you, everything got jumbled around on that crash, so we're just going to try to do our best to share what we can. You guys bear with us for one moment. Who gave us bits? Oh, BBG, thank you so much. 500 bits. We appreciate
Hey, BBG.
that. Thank you. That is very, very nice of you. All right. Give me 1 second here. Oh, wow. Drakazog, thank you for that gift sub. And Pops in Space, thank you for that sub as well.
Hey, thanks for the subscription.
Thank you guys. You guys are kicking us off. Yeah, you guys are kicking us off already. Okay, it sure did get deleted. Doggone it. Wow. Okay. Yeah, the lore got kicked out of here, guys. I had a lore page. Jay, do me a favor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I'm going to impose on you to talk a little bit, and Kelosal, you can fill in where she leaves out. Talk a little bit about Stanton, how Stanton became Stanton, why is it important, what about the 4 moons, a little bit of the history. We don't have to break down all of them because I do have the history for each planet, but just give an overall thing about Stanton itself, if you could.
So, like the Stanton history.
Yeah. Admiral Kusanagi, thank you for the bits as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for the bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So Stanton was discovered before the corporations that own the planets were there. And so the first settlers are unknown. Nav jumper Toshi Aaron discovered the system in 2851. And after selling the jump data to the UE, they declared Stanton to be a case of eminent domain, citing a need to protect and extend nearby jump lanes. Without formal colonization papers on file, the existing inhabitants had little choice but to abandon their homesteads. Prospectors, survivalists, and other squatters had little means to protect themselves from the might of a Bengal class carrier. They brought in a Bengal to evict these people from their homes. So remember that when you go after Ninetales, the original inhabitants of Yella. Anyway, sorry, I'll get off my soapbox now. The Stanton system is a planetary system in the UEE, United Empire of Earth, discovered in 2851, as I said. And it's one of only 2 fully colonized systems in the UE. It's made up of 3 super Earths, and a super Earth is a planet with larger mass and larger diameter than the Earth. It also has a gas giant known as Crusader, which a lot of you are familiar with, an asteroid belt, which is called the Aaron Halo, and it surrounds a G spectral class type star, which is very similar to our sun here in the solar system that we're all living in right now. All of the planets in the system were sold by the UE government to 4 major corporations soon after the discovery. And while inhabitants are protected under UE's common laws, they are also subject to rules imposed by the individual corporations that own each planet. And that becomes very important when you talk about Hurston dynamics.
Absolutely. Let's pause for a second, give some shout outs here. MT Stunner, thank you for the 500 bits. Also, anonymous gifter, whoever you anonymous person are, we know who you are, but we appreciate you for being anonymous. Thank you for those 5 gift subs. And Phased Kitten, thank you as well for those 5 gift subs. You guys put us on a hype train. Thank you so much. Oh wow, that's so cool. You guys we were at 50% of our goal. We're at 66 now. So thank you guys so much for that.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, we appreciate that. Thank
keeps
you.
on giving.
Yes, it does, because we got to keep giving to them. So that's great. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jade. Thanks for reading that. Yeah, just so you guys will know, Jade, talk a little bit about real quick. You kind of threw in the thing about remember that about the UEE, with them coming in with the corporation. So kind of talk a little bit about that in relation to what and where.
Oh, you mean in relation to you mean like Levski?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
before we get there, can I add
Yeah.
on to a little bit, Jade? Because
Yeah.
this is going to go into what Jade is talking about.
Sure.
Yeah, please, Colossal.
Right. See, guys. If you don't know, what Jade is all about in terms of her, I guess, reputability in Star Citizen, she's going to tell you this. But Stanton is a unique system. And one of the things that Jade told you about was that Toshi came in, and Toshi was this nav jumper and blah, 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 and so forth. And he finds the system, Stanton system, and people start coming in and start populating. It could have been there prior to Toshi. And what Toshi did was sold the nav point. Of course, he sold it to the UEE. UEE comes in with a Bengal class and just go ahead and disrupts everything and says it belongs to us, right? So you know me, I'm this huge civics guy, and I'm all about civic responsibility and stuff like that. But boy, am I about to jump on Jay's bandwagon here, because the UEE brings in this whole political system called the common law. And the common law basically says that citizens would adhere to a common set of laws by the UEE. They have no representation, zero in the Senate, none. Why? Because the corporations have that jurisdiction. And this is what Jay was talking about. These corporations, Microtech, ArcCorp, Hurston, and Crusader, they all came in, they all bought up these planets and these systems. And now, so whenever the only thing that's being represented are the corporations, not the people's interests, nothing. So that's one part of the phase that Jay is going to go ahead. I just want to give you that stand piece so you guys can understand why stand is what it is.
Exactly. It's taxation without representation.
Yep.
So the citizens and even worse off than them, the civilians, because under UE common laws you have a two-tiered humanity. Citizens have a bit more rights than civilians. That's why when you get released from Klesher, they say, "Good luck, civilian," right? Because the idea there is you've now been demoted. You've lost your citizenship.
You are, by definition, I'm sorry, Jay, a subject. A subject. Think of that word when you think of monarchies and imperials. You are a subject of the UEE. Go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, please. I'm loving this. So Stanton, because it is in a unique situation, they can't have anybody in representing them in the UE Senate, but they have all these people who live there and work there for these mega corporations, which has led to problems. Let's just put it that way. Exactly. So Crusader would probably be the one that is most notorious in terms of having to deal with security issues, because Hurston just put people down. But Crusader, they're trying to be, they were founded by somebody who it was very much philanthropist, humanitarian, civil rights advocate. So they can't be like Hurston Dynamics and just run roughshod over people. But because they're a little bit more lenient, the people that got evicted, like the Ninetales, they're able to do more things around Crusader, and so there's been an ongoing war, I guess you could call it that, or battle between Crusader and the Ninetales, which inhabit and control Grim Hex.
Right.
So that's one of the things most people here are probably most familiar with, because we have Siege of Orison, we have Ninetales Lockdown, and this is the reason why you have Rowena Dooley call you to go do the bidding of Crusader Industries to eliminate Ninetales from blockading stations or unfortunately attacking Orison, which I'm not down with, but I understand where they're coming from. Let's put it that way. But as far as the other corporations, like Microtech, they bought the planet and
we'll get to the plans, because when we get to them, we'll do each one. So that's good.
Okay. All right.
We just want the overall on Stanton, which is good. And I want you all to appreciate the fact that Jade's sharing all this. For those of you who don't know, understand why lore is so important in this game, because even when we have these dynamic events, understand that CIG is not just coming up with stuff for us to do, but it is tied into the actual system that we're in. And that's why Ninetales were picked. And that's why Levski was in. I mean, they're letting us know that lore is going to be very important in the game. So Op Chief was dropping some stuff in the chat for you guys to take a look at. stuff from lore makers, stuff from the wiki.
Yeah.
Also, give a shout out again to Thrakazog, MT Stunner. Thank you for those 5 gift subs. Thrakazog, thank you for the community gift sub. Envoy, good to see you. Thank you as well. Guys, you guys put us in the hype train. Thank you guys so much. We do appreciate the giving. You guys are awesome.
And Griff, just to elaborate what you're saying as well, and I'm going to push quickly that when you think about the lore as well, it's not just the places, it's also the manufacturing equipment, the equipment that you're using, the components that you're using as well.
Yeah.
All that stuff ties in deeply into the lore, such as what we're going to talk about with the Hurstons later on, and definitely with Microtech.
Yeah. So I guess what we're trying to tell you guys is that they're trying to develop a game where stuff is meaningful. Not just props, not just, enemies, but they're really trying to thread and tie all this stuff and weave it into a story that gives you a reason to go into the verse, and also understand where you go in the verse and why things are when you go where you go. But for today, we're going to be hitting these great points of interest. And if we have information to share about these locations for you, some of them are just cool places. Some of them we've got some stories to tell. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, the very first one, very familiar to many of you, Stanton 1. A lot of times we don't call these by Stanton 1, 2, 3, and 4, but that's what they're called, the Stanton 1, which was named Hurston, and Jade gave us some good background on that. A wealth of ore and other resources are mined here to manufacture Hurston Dynamics line of munitions and weapons. Heavy industry has resulted in severe pollution across the planet that devastates the ecosystem. And you guys, most of you are familiar with Hurston. You kind of know the background. We're not going to go into the whole lore thing of the planets per se, but we do want to give you a little bit of background on them so that you guys will kind of know where we're at. So I'm going to start with Jade, and then I'm going to go to Kelosal, then I'm going to go to me, and we're going to share with you the things that we like, or the places that we like about Hurston. So let me get my tech self together here, because this is my tech self that has to make this work this time. Jade, it is going to be on you as soon as the screen changes.
Okay.
As soon as I got to get the right button here to change the screen. There we go. All right, let's go to your first location here, okay? And we can talk about it, okay?
Yeah. So this is one of the many orbital weapons testing areas that Hurston Dynamics is known for. So basically, they bought this system, the planet and its 4 moons, to not only develop weapons, but also to test them out. And what you see there is the remains of one of the space stations from it looks like a Golden Horizon style space station, similar to what Port Olisar is, if you've ever been to Port Olisar. I think most of us have. But you can see, they really didn't care at all. They go ahead and blow up one of their own space stations that they no longer had a use for, and there's all the debris there, which presents a hazard, of course, for people who need to go out there to do bounty hunting, and some missions actually do take you out to some of these points of interest, but they are off the beaten path.
Tell them where this is so that they'll know where to go look.
This is actually above the moon Magda, which is one of the prettiest moons in the Hurston planetary system. It's pink and blue. It's beautiful. And you can actually, the thing I love about this is you can actually see these sites from the surface of the moon.
Right.
Very, very cool. You've been here, Kelosal?
I have been around it, yes.
Yeah,
I've been around
been there once and
there
have
may
not
be
been
a
back.
mission or
No. I mean, I would love that. Now that Jade's brought it up, it's making me want to go back and check it out, because I went there, I think you said for a mission or something, ran me through, but I need to go back and really check out, because she's mentioning that she can actually tell what type of station was here. I'm like, oh my God, I need to go back and look.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been there once. I always get attacked by a couple of random NPCs that pop up there from time to time.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Kelosal here, because he's got something in Hurston that he appreciates. It's on you.
Right. I do appreciate, I think this is what, Ishmael, Griff, I believe. This is Ishmael is located. It's an underground Hurston dynamic storage facility controlled by ex-Malo Bunham, located at about 884 kilometers from Hurston. You can go to orbital marker 6 and get to it. There are 2 missions that are here: evict illegal occupants and recovery contract. It may be more since they put stuff up here as well. I like the area mostly is because of its savanna habitat around it. There's a lot of forestry and stuff like that. So a lot of times when I want to calm down or try to get away from people, darn it, I told one of my secrets. I go to this area, at least go around the area and just chill out. Because there are some parts of Hurston, guys, that are really, I would say aggressive in terms of the weather, and because of what Hurston does. With his lore, I do want to say one thing about the lore, Griff, and let everybody understand that when they go to Hurston, there is a policy called the Life, Labor, Sky Employment Agreement. So when you go to Hurston, be aware that you're giving up 1 year of employee at a fixed rate. Okay, a lot of people call that waged servitude or things like that. But the government, going to what Jade was talking about, the UEE says that this is okay practice. Way to go with the UEE. So that's part of the reason why the Hurston family has such an authoritarian policy and view on what they're going on here. But I love this area here. It's just a nice area, not only just to look at, but a couple of quests or missions, if you will.
Yeah, Ishmael. I remember when we first got Hurston. I remember the first time I came here was because of a mission. And the thing that stood out to me, like you said, Kelosal, was the savannah that was next to it. Because a lot of the other ones had like barren and, rock and stuff. But this one, I was like, oh man, I got to remember where this is. Then I forgot, right? I couldn't remember where it was.
You watch your mouth, Nihilus. You watch your mouth, Nihilus. You watch your mouth, sir.
Don't get him started. I know. He hates Hurston. Oh my God. Yeah, but Ishmael is nice. And some of the other locations here are great because some of them are near water areas. But you're right, the savannas on Hurston, you kind of get that bleak feeling about it. But man, the savannas on Hurston are actually pretty nice. They really are. They are.
Yeah. If you want to see the most beautiful part of Hurston, in my opinion, go to the North Pole. And the way you do that is you find OM1, you fly down, and you are presented with lush savanna and many lakes and little islands in the lakes. It's really beautiful.
Yep. So check it out, gang. If you've never been there before, it's definitely worth it. In fact, Microtech has a unique, no, it's not Microtech. What place has the very unique place where you fly over the polar pole and you go down in this volcanic, oh God. There's like these jets, volcanic jets that shoot up.
I'm trying
to remember where that was. I forget, but it's like you got to go to the pole and come straight down and you see it. I'll think of it and maybe it'll pop in my head a little bit later. Okay, let me jump out of that one. I'll jump into mine. Oh, okay. Mine is, if you've never done these before, first time I did this, I was actually kind of blown away. The down satellite missions. These were really cool to me. Especially if you come up at nighttime on these locations. A lot of you guys know I won't give the details of the mission because some people may not have done it before. But the place is ablaze in flames. You can, at nighttime when you're coming in, you can even see it. And you have to be very careful when you're traversing the area and stuff. But there's some stuff you have to do in this area on this mission. And when I first saw this, I thought CIG just did an outstanding job. They hit I think it was one of the Citizen Cons or something a little while back. They did a demonstration of the down satellite, but then they enhanced it even more with the fire and flames. So if you've never seen fire and flames in the game, this is a good place to go see it, even though they've been working on making them even better. But I definitely like the down satellite mission. So check that out when you get time. Check that one out. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones they put in the game in the game, right?
And I don't remember if it was on. It was a down satellite. What I don't remember, Kelosal, is whether it was on fire or not. That's what I don't remember.
It was on fire because we fought at it
when it first came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when it first came out, we fought at it. We had it was a big POI at one point when it first came out, and I know Test Squadron, Best Squadron, we all went there and decided to go ahead and try to partake in this mission. And there were several other people who came up in this where so there was a huge grenade fight, and we were throwing out, we were shooting people and things like that, it's had fire since its inception.
Okay, very cool, very cool. Jade, you've done that mission before too, right? The down satellite. Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I forgot who I have on the show today, both of y'all.
It's one of the coolest locations in the game. And they gave it to us relatively soon after showing it to us at a Citizen Con. We got it not long after that.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, cool. Okay, so that was our stuff that we're going to talk to you guys about in relation to Stanton 1. Let's jump out of that and let's go to this one, Stanton 2. All right. a low mass gas giant that features a breathable atmosphere at high altitudes. This was an ideal situation for ship manufacturer Crusader Industries, who now occupies the planet's floating platforms to build massive ships like the Starliner. Interesting about this one, you guys remember how much we couldn't wait to go here when you couldn't go here? When there was nothing to go to back in the day. Did you guys ever try to fly down a Crusader back in the day before we actually could go there?
No, it's an ugly looking planet.
You never tried to fly into Crusader back in the day? Really?
No, the only planet I tried to fly into that you couldn't was when they first put up Hurston. Because when they first put up Hurston, it was a big old ball, and everybody was trying to go, and you went right through the planet,
right?
And that was it, right?
Okay,
but
you never tried Crusader though, huh?
No, we knew it was a placeholder. When you look at it, it was just horrible. When you just looked at it, I made no effort to even try to go to the planet.
But you know what? Crusader was deceptive though, because you forget it's a gas giant. And when you do fly down to any of the other planets, you know, it takes a little while, but you get there. But this thing's so massive. Like if you try to go from Port O to this sucker, it took a while and you didn't survive it. You know, you basically blew up after a certain point. Jay, did you ever try to fly to Crusader?
Yeah. Yep. I tried. I even tried to find places where you wouldn't blow up. I tried to find exact like altitude where you wouldn't blow up. Just, you know, just to hover there and look.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
I mean, but just strange to note, Griff, after they put it out, after they finally put it out, you know, I don't know if you played, what is that, Subnautica, right? And everybody's played Subnautica. And I'm from Florida, boys. Okay, if you haven't noticed, one thing that I don't want to do is go in the water, okay, in the state of Florida. There's some friends there that you don't want to call friends and things like that. If I can't see if I can't see more than 5 feet, I'm not going in there. Even when I'm slushing my feet, there's something underneath the sand. So I try not to go in the water. I've been born and bred on the beach. I leave it alone. Okay. So I decided to go ahead and go deep in the clouds, right? Deep in the clouds, hoping something's gonna happen. So the whole time, thinking about Subnautica, because when you're in Subnautica and you're going deep in the water, there's all these terrifying things coming at you, right? So I'm thinking Subnautica-ish while I'm going into the clouds of Hurston. So it's just a terrifying sight when you're going down, because it gets darker and darker and darker and darker, and then before you know it, you know, at this point in time, you blow up. But we'll see what's going on later.
You'll see the gentle giants, the storm walls.
I don't want to see that. Don't see. I was thinking that a big old eye was going to pop up in my face. I was like, you know, in Kelosal, I run right into an eye.
Yeah, really. Piss it off, right? Yeah, really. I'm like that too, man. Okay, let's take a look. Jade, it's on
I'll
you
fly
this
with you,
time.
Jade. That's fine.
Let's go to yours here. What you got here?
So, all right. So this is one of those huge cargo barges that you see when you're at Orison. You see them slowly moving, you know, across the sky. I think they're officially called the Atlas Cargo Ferry, and you can land on them. You can land on them. You can walk around on them. You know, you can see what these shipping containers. There's potential for future missions there, you know, some PvP or PvE missions there, and it's just one of the cool things that this is all physicalized, and it looks like it's built for the future. That you know, a lot of people haven't landed on this, but you can also land on the other platforms. They're really big.
I was gonna say, you know how when you've been around for a long time and you go to something for the first time, the first thing you're wondering is it physicalized, right? I mean, can I actually land on this thing? And I remember being so nervous, first of all, because it's moving at the same time too, right? So I'm trying to make sure that when I land on this thing, I don't land so weird that I go through it or anything else. And it was such a gratifying feeling to land on this thing and say, hey, you can actually land on this. I wonder if I can walk on it. You know, is there gravity? And it was actually kind of cool, right? And like you said, you could see now all the potential of other things that they can add now, mission-based things and stuff that could happen, even out on those platforms, which I thought was great. You know, I thought it was really cool. Kelosal, you've been on the platforms, I know, right?
I sure have, sure did. As soon as we were able to get on it, I jumped on it quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of those views that we jumped on, including over there at Providence. You know, so yeah, this was the jumping on those moving platforms is such a sight, because once you get on it, we just got out of the ship, started running around the area, so it was cool to do that.
Yeah, And they're big. They really are big. They really are big. By the way, Ops Chief Armad is dropping some great stuff in the chat for you guys. So if you're not familiar with these areas, he's giving you some stuff from the wiki and some lore to some of the areas that we're talking about. So hopefully that'll be helpful too. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jade. All right, Kelosal. It's on you.
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so I chose this site. This is Area 141 over there in Daymar. And the reason why I chose this site is because, once again, I'm a huge lore guy, and I chose this site because this is a big POI in terms of the lore for ArcCorp. This was one of the, when ArcCorp transitioned from basically exploration to mining, this is one of the facilities that ArcCorp went ahead and enacted. And it helped them propel to who they are today. It's part of the reason why they're just that big old type of conglomerate in terms of mega businesses out there. And this was mentioned. It's one of the large trade hubs on Daymar, and it's owned by ArcCorp. Its main function is to extract minerals for transport to the rest of Stanton system. There is a medium pads that are out there as well. It sells things like, what is it? Altrucia toxin, agricium, beryl, corundum, distilled spirits, medical supplies, blah, 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 blah. And the like. So it's just if you want to know more about ArcCorp's history in terms of moving from a non-lucrative product of exploration, it's shocking to say that, right? To mining, and understand how ArcCorp came to be, jumping from BCK to Novolite with Novolite components. This was the facility that helped ArcCorp move to that stage of prosperity. So just look into that if I were you guys.
Yeah. One of the things I remember about when I first came here was what's in this scene. And it was the fact that it was almost like the exact same thing of what we're seeing in that picture. I remember seeing Crusader in the background like that. And I thought it was so cool. And this station always was memorable for me for that. I mean, there are other stations you can get a similar view, but 141 was always the one that's always stuck with me because of that. And I always thought that in this image, it kind of shows that. Jade, well, I'll ask you a question. Do you remember the first time when we first started the game, everybody's at Stanton, right? Do you remember the first time you went to one of the moons or planets as a person who's in that field of, astronomy? How did you feel the first time you did that?
Well, yeah, I felt great. Number one, because we basically looked at these 3 moons, because when we were in 2.5, 2.6, when we first got the persistent universe, we just had Crusader and its 3 moons. And all they were basically like a texture that you couldn't land on. Right. And so we finally got these. This actually was the first place that I went to, was Mining 141. Yep. And I think it might have been many people's, because back then there weren't a lot of outposts. I think you only had you only had this, and I think Shubin with landing pads back in the day. So I remember landing, and I was just looking at all the terrain, and I was like, I looked at it, and I was like, if you combine the desert Southwest with Mars, this is what you would get. Like. And I remember opening my Moby glass. This is that geek in me, and looked at the atmospheric composition. And I saw back then the atmospheric pressure was like 1.45 Earth atmospheres. So it had a thicker atmosphere than Earth. And, I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like, and I looked, and, obviously the atmosphere wasn't breathable. It was like, mostly, I think back then it was like mostly nitrogen. Oh, no. It was mostly methane and nitrogen. Yeah. And it was, but it was really, really thick. And that explained like why you'd have things like, strong winds and things like that. They've changed it a little bit, but the harshness of Daymar is still there. And, it still has strong winds. We've seen this undergo multiple things where like we had heat waves. Where you could visually see the heat, but I always had a problem with that because I'm like, where's the humidity, right? Like coming from with this, yeah. So I guess maybe they took it out because of that. It was just something they wanted us to test, and it'll be on some planet where it
Makes sense.
it's more appropriate. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember those heat waves. Did they take it off and put it on aerial? At one point, I don't know, but I definitely remember those heat waves.
I remember the heat waves. First time I came to Daymar, and I've said this before, I remember being so excited and landing there. I was in a Cutlass. I landed, and I was getting about 8 frames a second. But I remember being so excited. And you know those little, I forget what they call them. You know those plants that look like a cantaloupe that's been busted out from the inside? I remember seeing one of those and actually being freaked out about it, right? I was like, man, what if this thing actually was alive or something? You know, I was really freaked out. But I definitely remember going to War 4-1. It's like a lot of history behind it, which I think is very cool. Very, very cool. Let me jump into mine. Mine would be a sunset sitting at the bar in Orison. If you've never done it before, at the end of the day, or if you want to get together with your friends and talk about the great battles that you had or the fights that you did during the siege, go up to the bar, grab one of the stools, and sit there and watch. And Kelosal and I did this one night. We sat and actually watched the whole thing go from dusk to sunset all the way down to nighttime. And
fire pit.
You start seeing, remember when you start seeing the platforms light up. You see the jets firing off on the platforms. I mean, it's just a very relaxing, kind of cool scene. I know for some folks that's a little bit too chill, but for me, this is something I dig. This is one of those things that happens in the game for me. Is like, okay, I'm digging what these guys are doing. These guys and gals are doing at CIG, and I just love seeing scenes like this, and just being able to do that. Kind of knowing I can always go to that spot. And it's different every time. It changes. The colors shift a little bit and change, but the general picture that you see right there is what you see when you're sitting in that bar there in Orison. So that's mine.
It was great role play. I mean, we sat at the fire pit. First, we went in there. We sat near the bar. I won't say what I did at the bar. I was, entertaining the bartender. And then we decided to go ahead and go outside where the other bartender was. We left from there because over there, just underneath that, you see the area where the whale statue is, I believe. And it's a nice transition from, early morning to daytime to afternoon to evening. And then you see the lights pop on over there by the fountain, and you see the whale start to light up, and you see these lights, just almost like these insects lights type there, these fireflies if they are there. And then we went over to the fire pit and just basically went over there and just started talking and just it is a relaxing. It's great for RP guys if you're a big time RP.
Yep. A lot of fun.
I know the first time I did Siege of Orison, like when they first rolled it out to live, after that was over, it seemed like everybody that was at the event was up there at that bar. So it's nice to see they built these, really, really cool social places that in one, setting, it can be real chill and relaxed like you two had. And another, it's full of activity after one of these big events. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Mr. Nimbus wasn't around yet, Fist. He wasn't around at that time, but he's around now, so he's gonna enjoy that.
All right, so that's Stanton 2, okay? And let's move on here. Stanton 3. R-Corp, we're most familiar with. Buildings cover a majority of the planet's surface, with residential areas relegated to the poles, while the company's factories, business headquarters, financial and commercial districts are located in between. I'm not sure if people knew that, Jade, about the way they actually built that planet, right? There's some method to the madness, right?
Yes, there is. So the art core differs in game than it will be eventually, because eventually the lore of it means or calls for natural areas. There's going to be mountains, oceans. It's not going to be completely covered with cities. But one of the main things about Art Core was it's the first human world that is similar to a Geon factory world. And what that means is they've planned out all these areas. For instance, residential will be near the poles. Factories will be near the equatorial regions. And, it's interesting that we have now, as a species, taken some ideas, like from another species that we've interacted with, and are now starting to embrace that. And that's what basically ArtCore is.
Mm-hmm.
The dark side of ArtCore is that they are often in the running with Hurston for the worst employer in the UEE. Their factories are so dangerous that tourists don't actually get to see one. They get to see one that is sort of like it's a mock-up.
It's a fake one,
It's
right?
a fake one, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, like animatronics at like Disney World, right? Because their real factories are so dangerous and the conditions are so bad that
Mhm.
they don't want people to be in an uproar over them.
Good point.
Yeah, it just to touch on that, Jade is exactly correct. ArtCore and Hurston for the running of the worst companies in the world, but the companies that bring in the most money. It took 50 years, the shortest amount of time possible, for ArtCore to terraform that area. And the Shions the bandit was so impressed with them that they did that. And like I said, the factories they're out there, but the nasty part of the factories are deeper, almost like when you go to Coruscant, you get further down.
Yep.
That's what the problem is. They have the highest suicide rate out of all the companies. The highest suicide, or at least one of the highest suicide rate, and that's part of the reason why they have such a bad reputation over there in ArtCore. But once again, when you produce, when you have companies like Novolite that produce that standard, that fusion engine that's bringing you the bang for your buck, that's where ArtCorp excels. So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, Jade, it's on you.
Okay.
Your location here.
Yes. So this is so Griff likes this one because it's very similar to one of his favorite locations. But mine is in Area 17, not Area 18, and it's one of these towers which you can land on. You know, I like to think that in the future we will be able to have apartments or condos in some of these. There's so much space on this planet. You could give every single person who pledged for this game an apartment, and there would still be tons of empty buildings full of apartments. So I landed, you know, my 600i there and just got out and enjoyed the view. And the reason I picked Area 17 is because I believe Area 17's no-fly zone is lower than Area 18. So those of you that are low flyers that wanted to do some low flying around buildings, I think this or maybe Area 20 have a lower no-fly zone, so you can do that.
Yeah. I remember the I can't think of the name of the machinima. Do you remember, Jay, where they did the battle in ArtCorp, and that was why they were able to get away with doing
the name of it either.
That was why they were able to, because I kept saying they couldn't do that at Area 18, and I found out later there were a couple of them that had lower ones, but I didn't know 17 was one of them. I just knew that there were some places where the restriction area was lower, and that explained how they were able to get away with doing that, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. I love that view. That's probably that's on the tallest building, right? It's 17, that one there. Yeah, I love that view. Great pick. Great pick.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelosal. Let's see what did you have here. Oh, yeah, your favorite port there. What was you going to talk about? Port Tressler.
Tressler. Okay, so Tressler. This is what Tressler's over there at Microtech, I believe.
Oh, that's right. I'm a step ahead of myself. Okay, that's right. Wrong place. You didn't have anything for ArtCorp. That's what it was.
I
okay,
didn't have
you didn't have anything for
ArtCorp.
Okay, that was my mistake. I've got my buttons in the wrong locations here. Sorry, gang. We'll come back to that in just a little bit. We'll come back for Kelosal. Don't worry.
Yeah, Kelosal hangs around ArtCorp because of the Empire type resemblance.
Oh, God. You know what? I didn't even think about that. You might as well go ahead and tell people because they'll know exactly what you're talking about that you like about that, about ArtCorp. There's a particular location in the city he likes.
There are certain genres that I love. And ArtCorp embodies one of those when you go to the Empire Hospital facility over there on the ArtCorp in the central part. There's a big old sign that says Empire. So I like to sit in front of that, you know, because I like to revel in that majesty.
God save us all. God save us all.
I mean, you got, but I mean, just jump on the lower Griff. You got to imagine there's a whole bunch of people that's up in that building.
Yeah,
it's got to be a whole bunch of people. Up in that building.
There's a whole bunch of sick people in that building. You're absolutely right. That's what I'm going to say about that. All right, there's a bunch of sick people in there. Just like the sick people that run the Empire, but that's another genre and another story, right? All right. But yeah, those of you guys know that's That's the hospital, right? When you come in, Kelosal actually got excited about that, y'all. When they opened that hospital up, he was like, "Oh, this is great, Info. This is it."
Yeah, it's a fantastic place. But on the flip side, I think we're missing that other part. The point of, as far as the POI, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jade. Didn't the whole purpose of the Stanton system was to go ahead and take the money from being collected from this system to be used for Scent World?
Well, yeah, this system and many others. Synth World is considered by many in the Empire a money pit.
Right.
And even all of the money that Stanton brings in isn't enough. Almost every system, Terra, GOS, all these systems feed the money pit that is Synth World.
Yes, and thanks a lot, DK, for that. I know exactly where you party at now. Over there.
No. DK does his. That's what I was gonna say. DK does his show, DK House Sessions, on the People's Radio from Artcore,
Okay.
from the G-Lock bar.
Okay. All right. So that's that for Artcore for import, and then mine would be, of course, there's no visit to Artcore that's not worth it unless you go visit you know who. All right. Tessia Pacheco. I actually am looking forward to more expansion on this, because when they first put this in the game as an NPC mission area, the mission's very cool for those of you who've done the mission before. But I actually am looking forward to them building out more on this character, the lore behind her, her origins, and also finding out between her and what's the guy's name, Jade?
It's a blank check, right?
No, not the whole thing with that, but Eckhart. Yeah. When they put these into the game, I really have wanted to expand, especially when they did the Eckhart mission, because they used it at a Citizen Con and gave us this whole outline of Eckhart. And so I really want to see all of the NPC characters become much more active than you just go up to them, they give you a mission, and that's it. I really would love to see more.
I know something about her, and I don't want to give you too many spoilers, but she used to be a top pilot.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And there's a whole story about why her hands that way. We'll probably find out. So
Yep. No, there's a whole nice lore piece about her. One of the things that I always noted in here was, because she had the mechanical replacement things and cybernetics done. Those of you who've seen her up close, you notice that she has the cybernetic eye lenses that are the same as you can get at the store in Microtech downstairs. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that, but she has these rotating lenses in her eyes. And Jade, I don't know if that's because she has the lenses or whether her eyes were replaced. That I don't know. But I do know that those lenses are down. I forget what they call them down at I call it the Apple store. But down at
the factory line.
Factory line, yeah. Downstairs in the basement. Very similar. And so, we know that those are things that we're going to be able to use later in the game that will have a certain purpose in the game, whether they're not VR. What's the word I'm looking for?
Reality, AR.
AR, thank you.
Yeah.
Some other things that they may be implementing in the game. But of course, you all know I have an affection for her character. By the way, she actually appears in real life in Andor. For those of you who haven't watched Andor, that's her in Andor. So take a look if you're here. Okay.
I just want them to. I want CIG to finally give her her hair so she can take that off.
Oh, listen! When they introduced the he's here. When they introduced and showed us the hair thing, I was blown away by the hairstyles that they came up with.
Me too.
And so I agree with you. I am so wanting and waiting for that to become a reality in the game. Hey, let's welcome Kalrati. He is here. Hey, buddy, how are you?
What up?
Hey, Kalrati.
Happy to be here.
Good. Traveling man. Kalrati,
hey,
we are.
Griff.
Yeah.
Go ahead with Kalrati, and then I'll go ahead.
You sure?
I just wanted to add two more things with. Hey, Kalrati, good to see you, buddy. A couple more things with Artcorp in terms of the lore. Isn't the Million Mile High Club here?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, so those of you people that have that type of privilege, Kelosal is looking for some type of an entry up in there. So if maybe if you could hold my hand and take me out, that would greatly appreciate it. Present company included.
Yeah.
That's one of them. The other thing, as far as with ArtCorp does have a desire of snatching up businesses. Almost like what we see in present day companies and present day countries, when they come in and they see your business doing well, and they snatch it up. And they also like to make factory worlds as well, just create one specific interest for that specific planet. It's part of the reason why they did what they did with ArtCorp.
Yeah.
But interesting POI.
Yeah.
Million Mile High Club.
Yeah, one real quick honorable mention for ArtCorp's moons, because they are unique. If you've never been to Walla and seen the crystal mountains covered in green emerald type crystals, definitely do that. And Lyria is the one that has, it looks like geysers
Right.
in a lot of places. So definitely check both of those out.
Yep. Both beautiful. You're right. Kalrati, is there anything about ArtCorp you want to share? You have a favorite place in ArtCorp or anything?
Everything. ArtCorp is actually my favorite planet in the Stanton system.
There you go.
About the architecture, the signage, everything about the history. So I've been listening in as I was setting up, and I was like, yep. And I really can't wait until they go back and revise it to make it a more realistic sense of what ArtCorp actually is. So I really can't wait.
Absolutely. Kelosal, you mentioned about the Million Mile High Club. CIG has talked about that they are doing a revamp of that as well. I remember when it first got implemented, everybody wanted to be able to figure out a way to get there or know somebody who could get access to it. And once you go, it's nice, but it is become, I'm not going to say dated, but it is dated a little bit. And it's not as big as you think it is. It's a nice size for a small party of people. I think you're almost going to have to book the room, Jade. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't have 2 or 3 orgs in there. There'd be a bar fight going on. I think you have to reserve your time to be in there or something. But for those of you
I've been in it.
I'm
just looking for a more permanent stay.
Just more access.
They gotta renovate it, because Voyager Bar at Orson. I'm sorry, it's a shame.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I said it's dated. Yeah, that's what I say. It needs a facelift. Let's just say that it needs a facelift. Cool ideas though, the aquariums and all the other stuff. I do like the wood and the rich feeling of it, but they need to modernize it and step it up a little bit. And I'm sure CIG will do that. More windows, yes, Shimpasto. It needs a view. Right, you take that elevator up, it needs a view. That drives me crazy that they don't put views in certain places, but that was back in the day. So, okay, enough of Tessia. I'll take her off the screen now. Let's go back and move on to our next area. We just finished up with Stanton 3. We're going to go to Stanton 4. Familiar place to most of us, especially now with IAE going on. Microtech, a terraforming error left the planet with an unnaturally dense cloud cover and a colder than average climate, making it an ideal location for its owner to house its heat sensitive computing and manufacturing needs. Oops, I got to bring Kalrati back in because I forgot he wasn't on this screen. Jade, I'm going to go ahead and jump to you. But let me get Kalrati in. You know what? I'll get him on the next time when we come back. Yeah. I'll get him when we come back. All righty. So here we go. Boom. Talk about that.
Right. So, 'tis the season. We're already starting to do our holiday shopping, and this is the Luminalia display, which is, Star Citizen's, Christmas holiday, which is located at New Babbage. If you fly to the big Aspire Grand Tower and you go underneath it, if you go far enough, you'll come across this area. And there's a lot you don't see in here because I'm kind of zoomed in on the fire because it's such a nice, cozy shot. But yeah, there's presents everywhere. There's Christmas tree. It looks like there's a radio. Like people are you could sit around, listen to music. It's really, really cool. And it's great. They have this here, for people that want to do holiday parties, orgs, people with their friends. It was just me and a few friends that went out there. So yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question, and I want to reflect this back to when we were talking about the bar, Orison We talked about the Million Mile High Club, and now we're talking about the fireplace down below the nest. How do you all feel? Because Kelosal said about role play. Do you think that players will begin to, I don't want to say appreciate, because I don't know if that's the word I want to say. Black Moses, thank you for that follow. And thank you, Elvinthy. I missed you too. Oh, and Commander 41. God, I missed all these people who followed. I don't know why I didn't hear the chime.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Do you think that people will start to utilize the game in all its aspects? In other words, not just to do missions, not just to do trade runs, not just to do mercenary, not just to do medical runs, but the social dynamic. Because Chris Roberts evidently is, or obviously to me, wants this to be a social dynamic game as well. And for people who maybe aren't into RP, will they find these locations and be places where they will actually enjoy hanging out? Like right now, IAE is going on. Will people start going to these locations, you think, and actually while they're waiting on friends, or maybe there needs to be game mechanics that make people start using the bars and restaurants more? Because you mentioned like after you guys had the big Battle of Orison, everybody kind of went there. Is that what it's going to take to get people to start using these social spaces in the game, that something has to take place? Or do you think they'll just use them as just, let's just meet up at the bar? You know what I mean? So just hang out. Yeah, go ahead.
So I guess, yeah. If you want real RP to happen, a lot of times private servers still, it helps you with that a lot of times, because the people in private servers tend to put restrictions in place that allow for that to happen. Mm-hmm. It can happen anywhere, but you'll get one or two or three or four people who just aren't in the role play, and they'll spoil the whole thing. Instead of them, I always say all the time, role playing takes time. Mm-hmm. And when you go in and you actually role play and you actually enjoy role playing, you're not going to rush to do all these other missions, like these outpost missions and security post missions. You're not going to rush to do all that, because the whole point of role playing is socializing and actually enjoying, socializing within the community, and not only within the community, within the lore that is presented.
Okay.
And
so what about the non-role player though? I guess my question is, do you think that they will start to maybe see that there's that benefit, even if they're not quote unquote RPing? You know what I mean?
I'm getting to that. Yeah,
okay,
I'm getting to that.
Okay.
If they put in, and I'm go back to Star Wars Galaxies, Griff. Mm-hmm. If they put in those mechanics that we saw at Star Wars Galaxies, remember there are some people who were able to do certain things, cantinas, and they were able to give certain perks and certain things like that. If they're able to put those types of things there, which allow that type of environment to happen, then yes.
So then
for those non-role players.
So then it's almost still based upon gameplay, but they're utilizing the social space. Even though there's some people who don't need gameplay to utilize the social space, right? You've got the RPers that they'll make their own gameplay. And then you've got the other people that gameplay comes in and it brings them into the social spaces. Yeah.
One word on this image. We wouldn't be sitting there in armor, spacesuits, if that fire actually provided
put out heat.
some heat.
I was going to ask you. I never did ask. Does that thing put out heat or not? I was going to ask you that. Okay, it doesn't.
You will freeze to death near that fire. So, CIG, if you see this, please maybe.
But everybody's sitting there with frost on their suits. Yeah, I guess it doesn't put out heat, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just going to say it's a great place, though, to bring your friends and take screenshots when there are holiday screenshot contests and things. This is a great place.
Yeah. Kalrati, how about you? You've been down there to the fire, right?
Yes, I have. And, with regard to the whole role play thing, it's a really lovely and relaxing experience. And I think eventually, as we get closer and closer to, or further and further away, I should say further and further away from the initial alpha environment, I think people will start to settle down, because even now, you still see players trying to go through the game through a standard game model. You jump into the game, you do missions and those things. And still, of course, you get more and more people being new to the game and not really knowing about the game's infrastructure and the ability to do so many things with your friends or even by yourself, right? So as a result, they tend to mimic what they do a lot within even open world games. So you do missions, etc. And if you don't have any other missions, then that's it. They don't necessarily engage in role playing. So I think as we get more, like Kelosal said, more role play mechanics, more mechanics to actually incentivize that, and more people who actually know about the game itself, not necessarily just the content itself. I think they will be encouraged as soon as they jump into the game to actually start doing that, as opposed to doing just missions and then referring to the role play. So
I agree. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You've seen even like you've seen this change over time. Like even with this IAE, I've never seen as many people. I've always walked around in just regular clothes, but I've never seen as many people on the trains going to the IAE in regular clothes, or at the IAE walking around in regular clothes. And I think what it is right now, there are certain things that have happened in the game that allow for that, because we have these hangars at space stations now. We don't actually have to put a spacesuit on to go from a city to a space station and back.
Good point. Okay. All right, Kelosal, we're back to you with Port Tressler.
Yes. So first of all, hands. I think we need to give a hand to Magnus Tobin, Alina Tressler, and Magnus Tobin's brother Faquiri for exposing the messes. It was what happened with Microtech. If you don't know the history of Microtech, it is a rich history. Magnus Tobin is the one that founded Microtech, and his brother taught him all about hacking. It's part of the reason why you have your Moby glasses, because it's what was used to expose the mess. They hacked into the system, exposed the messes for who they were. Boom, the messes fall. Alina Tressler is huge. She is a huge. I believe this station needs to be like a memorial for her, because she is a huge part of how Magnus Tobin was successful at establishing Microtech. She basically oversaw all the work. She mentored Magnus's. She was instrumental in Microtech. Some people blame her or say that she was instrumental in behind the scenes of overthrowing the messers with that hacking situation. She helped Magnus buy Microtech. And SimPods and things like that. So she was basically the brains behind the money, basically. And so just like you see over there in Hurston, when you have a statue of the Hurstons and stuff like that, I really think that Tressler, CIG, I think you can make Tressler a little bit more of a memorial towards Alina Tressler, because I think she's a lot more important and lore than they actually put out. And I wish when they do name these stations after certain individuals, that they put up statues and memorials and things like that. Definitely Tressler should be one of that.
Like what they did with the hospital at Hurston, Maria, same type of thing. You want to see something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, Kelosal. That is a very, very rich history, and she did a lot to overthrow the Messer regimes. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Kalrati, you got anything for our corporate all that you enjoy in particular spots in that area?
I usually just like flying to the buildings and just the whole scenery. But particularly, I also kind of sort of
I said Microtech. I'm so sorry, my friend. I said our corporate.
Oh, okay.
Microtech.
Well, okay.
I'm so sorry, Microtech.
It's all right. So Microtech. I just like the biomes, but coincidentally, I have never been to the river yet.
Really?
Not because I don't want to. It's just because I kind of want to eventually stumble upon it.
Okay.
I don't want to go out and search for it, because that's what I did with the Daymar, with the Javelin wreck on Daymar. But I kind of not necessarily want it to be mission driven or something, but I just want to one day just explore and such, and eventually come up upon a river. So that's, I guess, one thing that I am looking forward to. With regards to the whole general thing about Microtech, I just like how detailed the biomes are, and I guess that's one of the I wouldn't want to say baseline planets that they're actually using to test certain things, but I mean Microtech, they've applied certain things like the rivers and such to Microtech first before applying it to other planets. So with regards to other things that I'm looking forward to with regards to Microtech, I can't wait until the animals come online, like the Boreal Stalker and just the general history. That it's a whole bunch of different things I like about
No,
Microtech,
that's fine. But for right now, the point of interest that you would tell people to check out would be something like the river, or just to find it, right? To go search after it and find it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
No, I think that's very cool. That's very cool. Now, you may need to turn your head if you don't want to. I know you know what the river looks like already, though, but I won't show you how to get there. But
don't worry about it.
Yeah, and to your point about the river, some of you guys have seen that on ISCs. They've been talking about the enhancements and things that they've done to make it even better. It is pretty when you go there. I will say that. In Kelosal, I have to say this. I went there with I forget who it was, and I think it was Fist and some other folks, I think. and just hung out there. And it was so cool. And people were flying in and checking it out. Some of you all have seen pictures of people literally parking their 890 jump on the edge, or their 600 Jade, sitting there having lunch and dinner, looking out the window, seeing the stream. Very cool. But it's a very cool location. Very cool.
It is. Go ahead, Jake.
I was going to say, one of my favorite things to do in the game is to take my 890 jump, not to the river, but to a place in the similar biome, real lush forest, set it down there and see how long I can live out of it as a mobile base, coming and going from the hangar and logging out in it when I'm done playing.
Cool.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of people, river breeds life. And a lot of civilizations, a lot of civilized civilizations are usually founded on rivers, major rivers. When this first came out, Cosmic Trader and I went down there. Cosmic took me to this, and we went down there, and I accidentally, intentionally polluted on the river because I went ahead and left the can on one of the rocks to check and see if it was physicalized, and it stayed. And then we saw, the whole thing was, will an 890 blow up if you landed in the water? So we saw a couple of 890s blow up. A couple of them were able to land, some of them blow. We saw a lot of bodies underneath the water and things like that because people were trying to test the whole theory. Well, can you breathe underwater and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful area in Microtech.
Yeah, definitely. Just breathe in that origin moment right now.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit of Drake
Breathe it in. Take it in.
King of beauty.
Take it in. Take it in. I got to get my shot in, y'all. I got to get my shot. Okay.
Griffin, I guess one more. I guess one before you go ahead and do that. I guess one of the locations, the Ghost Hollows. The new location they put in from 3.7.
Hold on. We ain't there yet because I think Jade has that one down too. So
okay.
So we'll bring that one up.
I didn't know she had two. I'm sorry, Jade. My bad.
We'll bring that one up.
That's all right.
No, but since you mentioned it, we'll mention it as an extra. We'll bring it up.
Okay.
Okay. This spot is an interesting spot for me because I fell in love with it and then I fell out of love with it, and now I have promise for it. This is Calhoun Point on Microtech. And the reason why I fell in love with it was because when they first placed it, it was surrounded by forestry. There's a huge, if you look back right behind it and to the left, there's a huge mountain or hill there that you can actually land your ship on and look down into this area. But you can see behind there's a large wooded area, but it was much bigger and much more dense. And I think CIG probably pulled it back because the LODs probably were terrible in that area. And I'm hoping that they will reforest it because I thought it was such a great secluded place. That was designed very well and very, very pretty. But if you've never been to Calhoun Point, it's a remote spot. Definitely, if you go there, be on your guard because there, you can definitely get shot if you're there or someone can blow your ship up. But it's one of those interesting, very small facilities that's on Microtech in the area that temperature-wise, everything is cool to be there and everything. So definitely check that one out, Calhoun Point. Okay.
If you like to jump vehicles, that hill you can drive up, or especially if you have gravel bikes, you can get some serious air, and then you have such a scenic thing. You look all around you. There's forest and grass, and there's lots of places to land. So yeah,
it's a pretty area, but like I said, they reduced a lot of the flora in the area, and it's much more open now. But I loved it when it was so cool that you could put your vehicles and maybe you can get your ship in there. Somebody from this air wouldn't be able to see you. It was that dense at one point, and then they kind of thinned it out. So, but it is what it is for right now. Hopefully CIG will reforest the area again. Let's jump back. I still didn't bring Kalrati in, which I meant to do. Kalrati, I'm gonna come right back, so don't go anywhere. The last thing we're going to talk about is ports and stations, and Kelosal already talked about this one, but we're going to talk about it a little bit more. Just other areas in the game that aren't necessarily based on a moon or a planet. Some of them may be, but we're going to talk about those next. So let me go back to Jade here. And Jade, you've got one here that's interesting. Some people may not recognize it, so you have to give some story behind it, but go ahead.
Right. So this is the Aaron Halo, or part of the Aaron Halo. And what the Aaron Halo is an asteroid belt. It's Stanton's big asteroid belt. Miners know all about it because it's one of the most lucrative places to go out and mine. And it's a great place to go when you just don't want to be, bothered by anybody. You go out there, nobody's going to find you unless they're really looking really hard.
They
for
gotta
you.
be really looking.
Yeah, exactly. And so this image here, it was this, me and a couple friends just wanted to see the sense of scale of these mineable asteroids. And so we went out all Expanse style, and we're just taking a nice spacewalk and seeing what this was like.
Thanks for the subscription.
I think this may have been when we first got mining gadgets. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I like the Aaron Halo because it's definitely a place for people that want that belter life. If you just want to live out of a prospector out there and haul your stuff in, you can.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Aaron Halo has changed up so much. I mean, it's been very frustrating because, as you guys know, when you try to use the map to find it, it doesn't always land the way you think it will. For those of you who are mining, you've kind of figured out your distances between certain bodies in order to land in the belt. But the belt is huge. And also, I just went in there a couple weeks ago, and the density from the last patch of asteroids in it now is tremendous. Back in the day, it used to be kind of sparse, but now you're flying in there. You got to be paying attention to where you're going, particularly if you're facing the Stanton star, where you can't see them when they're coming up on you. So yeah, very cool.
Ping is your friend when you're in any asteroid belt.
Absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
still hoping and praying that they actually make Aaron's Halo the way they presented Aaron's Halo as far as the whole lore. I'm still waiting, but and if they don't, at least make it like destroy it or something like that, and make it like a POI where people can actually go in and see the remnants of Aaron's Halo, or something like that. But I would hope that CIG is going to actually put that in there to make it more interesting to traverse through the Stanton system.
It would be. Okay, Kelosal, this one's on you. One of your favorite POIs in the system here.
Yes. A lot of people claim this is my place of habitat. It's not. It's just a place I visit from time to time. This is Klesher Rehabilitation Facility. We got to thank one of the Hurston family members, in their 15 generations of families and 500 years of ruling on Hurston. The lead researcher, Aberdeen Hurston, is part of the reason why this facility is on there. Aberdeen Hurston worked mostly on things dealing with prisons. So that's part of the reason why this rehabilitation center is on there. It's an automated prison, and it's managed by the corporation of the same name, where arrested criminals work off their sentence through a combination of serving time and performing mining labors. So if you're one of those people that like socializing with other people and like touching other people, then this is a place for you to be rehabbed. So I tend to be there all the time, and a lot of times unreasonably. I think the law is too aggressive on Kelosal, so it just happens to be where I do the same crime with somebody else. I'm in there for 25 hours, while somebody's in there just for a half an hour. Just a great place.
The warden by name. Yeah, you do. Hi there, Kelosal. How are you? Good to see you again. Yeah.
Look, I even know how to stop the fans from rolling. I mean, that's how often I'm in this system here. Great place.
Oh, God.
Way to go, Aberdeen.
Okay. Kalrati, you got any thoughts on Klesher?
Lovely place.
Do you stay out of there, or do you land in there from time to time?
It's my tourist destination.
Oh, okay.
So that's good at both inside and out. It's my tourist destination.
Great place.
Jade, what about you, Klesher?
I try to stay out of there as much as possible, but if you happen to see me in there, don't come near me because I will cut you.
I was going to say, they say, "Ooh, it's a pretty girl. Come here." Yeah,
I will cut
there you.
No, they do that. They literally do that. I have had to take my multi-tool out, and I've punched people out. I've cut them with a shank. I've multi-tooled them with the laser.
One of the first people I saw go in Klesher when it first came out was Captain Richard, and he was trying to go to the machine to turn in his stuff so he could get out. And somebody kept coming up behind him and trying to shank him during the whole time. He had to get people to surround him to keep people from messing with him, Klesher's
aggressive.
Klesher's an interesting facility. One of the things we can tell you guys, now you already know this, but in 318, they're looking to enhance the prison system. So there's going to be more things to do there, as well as when you're trying to escape. It's going to be much more detailed, more involved. CIG has already shown us stuff on ISC in relation to that. So going to Klesher, like right now, a lot of folks know how to get out within minutes. They've memorized it and got it down. They're making it way more difficult. Plus, there is some mission-based stuff that they're going to have in Klesher, which is going to be nice too. So this may be actually a place that you, depending on your character, you may want to go to, you know, and make some extra money or get some information, whatever the case may be. But this, by the way, Klesher is not the worst prison that there could be. There are worse.
Oh yeah,
There are worse. So, but this is just their first iteration. I guess it's their tier 0, tier 1 prison.
Right.
But there's more to it than that. So yeah.
Just a side note. You have to be a crime level 2 to be entertained by the Hurston.
I think you got to be
the 2 or higher.
It's somebody in chat may
two
know.
or higher.
I know it's at least 2.
Yeah, I think it's 2 or higher.
I think once you get to 2, that's it. Anybody in chat know? You go to prison at 2 or 3. Anybody
Yeah,
can chat? Throw that in chat.
I believe it's
for
2 or
us.
higher.
Entertain.
I think there was an update.
3. Okay, DK.
Yes, it's 3. Okay.
Yeah.
They updated the 3. No.
Yeah, it's 3 now. Yeah, because 2 you can still pay a fine or whatever and get out.
Yeah.
But 3.
Okay, because at one point it used to be 2 earned you in there, 3 gave you 2 hours, and 4 or more gave you 8.5 hours or above.
Yeah, well, you better reset your clock, brother, because they're gonna keep you in there longer now. I can tell you that. Okay. Yeah, not all seasons are payable. Thank you, Big Toe. Yeah, not all.
Thanks for the support, Scuba Steve. Appreciate that.
Okay, cool. All right.
Colossal is just one craft that.
Yeah, let me make this recommendation for those of you who have. I know it's, you know, some people don't visit Arena Commander or haven't visited in a long time, but I'm going to pull Arena Commander out, and particularly Dying Star. As you guys know, they did a rework on it, and for those of you who haven't been there, Dying Star is definitely a spooky place to go to now. Much larger, much more atmospheric in its space. If you look right below that station there, you can see that there's like what looks like gaseous clouds. You fly through there, you cannot see where you're going. You cannot see past the front of your ship. And it gives you a feeling like Colossal was mentioning earlier about when he goes down on Crusader. It gives you a feeling of what it will be like. Like right now, when we go up on the Lagrange stations, you don't really go through any, you know, you see the clouds, but you don't have that density. But here it's dense. And I'm really hoping that they will expand this out more into the game where there's certain areas where the cloud density is like that. Those AKA remembering Star Trek Wrath of Khan, where your visibility is just literally wiped out and you have to fly by sensors or scanning, like Jade said earlier. Some of you guys know, like when you're approaching a station at nighttime on a dark side of a moon, you've got to hit the scanner in order to see the distance from the station. I'm hoping that they'll do the same thing in gaseous cloud areas. That way, when you're doing things like combat, pursuing somebody, mercenary, you know, there's a cat and mouse thing that can take place. And I think this is like a really good first iteration of seeing what that could be like. So if you haven't been in Arena Commander recently and checked out Dying Star, go there and check it out. And I think you'll find it pretty impressive what CIG has in there. Okay. Anybody got anything about the whole Dying Star thing, or we can go on?
Other than it's a really bad name.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had that conversation about that. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go back there.
Yeah. It was more cool factor than reality factor, right? So okay. But to your point, you're right.
It's an intense area.
Yeah. Let me go back and throw in, because Colossal, I know you and Jade both want to talk about this. Kalrati, was there anything that you wanted to think about it while I'm bringing theirs up? Okay, if there's one more spot you want to talk about this in the verse that you think is interesting. Jade did send this one to me, so thankfully I have it, and it is boom. Here we go. Let me turn mine off, and you both can talk about it. But this is Ghost Hollow, right, Jade?
Ghost Hollow.
Okay.
Yep.
Any thoughts about it?
Yeah. So Ghost Hollow is in the Alpine Forest biome on Microtech. It's, as you can see, a derelict reclaimer, which some outlaws have decided to start living in. And sometimes you go out there and they're there. If you take the mission to go out there, it's actually called Ghost Hollow in your Moby Glass. It's, you know, like it says that it's Ghost Hollow, so that's how you find it. And sometimes they're not there, but there's also loot crates there too. And it's a beautiful, picturesque location. I'm sorry the sun was really low on the horizon in this. It was like at dusk, but in broad daylight, really at any time of the day, it's really beautiful. And if you like exploring, you can climb up in that reclaimer and go all through it. Just hope that, nobody else is out there because they can shoot you. And I will say this, every encounter where I've gone out there, I went out there with a group in that Corsair. We saw some other people there. It's always been peaceful when I've gone out there, but I've heard other people get jumped out there. So I'm just passing that along.
I got jumped.
Okay.
You got jumped.
Tell me, everything bad happens in Mr. Nimbus. As soon as he goes out there, it just follows. Bad or good, it's going to happen. If you want an adventure, can come to it Kelosal, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all hang out with Mr. Nimbus over here. And,
yeah, Mr. Nimbus.
Mr. Bad Luck here. I don't know. Murphy's Law. If something bad can happen, it will. Yeah.
Thanks, too. It's a good thing.
Kalrati, you got anything that you want to share before we duck out of here?
I just want to reiterate on what you guys have been saying about Ghost Hollow, because I remember doing a recent mission just to wipe out all the criminals, and especially doing it as a single person. It can actually give you the heebie-jeebies sometimes. It can actually just raise that kind of anxiety sometimes, and sometimes you just want to be very, very careful. Because especially when the servers are really, functional, and the AI are a lot more aware. I just want them to add a little bit more AI, especially for those missions. But the environment design, amazing. They did a beautiful job.
Really, I have yet to go. I keep saying that I want to go check it out and see it. So I'm gonna have to get some folks together and go out there, because I'm not going by myself. That's not going to happen, because I'll be laying on the ground for an hour and a half waiting on somebody to come get me. Okay. All right. Cool. All righty, very cool. Those were some great stuff there. Listen, we want to do a couple things here. One of the things we want to do, where's my picture at? Oh, I'm in the wrong screen. Let me go back there. And let's go there. There we go. And let's take that down and that down, because that should be up. Okay. We don't have any questions. We have no Q&A this week. Nobody had any questions, so I guess people were either very knowledgeable or you guys did a great job explaining things. Kalrati, let me get you in, brother, because this is just like driving me insane. What did I do?
I got an honorable mention, buddy, while you're doing that.
You have an honorable mention? What's your
honorable mention?
Oh, you got honorable mention. Yeah, what's your honorable mention?
INS Jericho.
Oh, Jericho. Yeah. For those who've never done the mission where Jericho is, you're right. That is a good one.
Nice space station there. Can house a javelin. Can hold a javelin along with the other space stations on both planets. But there's a very good mission that's attached to that, dealing with cargo and out and things like that and so forth. So just a nice hot spot whenever those events pop up.
Do you guys remember before they put Jericho on the map, what you had to do to find it? You had to do the whole trajectory thing to try to get it.
It was painful.
Yeah, I think the first time I did it, I was like an hour and a half before I finally found it, man. I mean, I was determined, but they made you work for it to find that sucker back then, man. Plus, it was in the clouds. It was like, what the heck, Okay.
Well, I was with, I think I might have been through one of the first groups, because we stumbled across it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember people talking on the server like, where is this place? Because we were describing it. Most people didn't know it existed yet. And then we were like, is this going to be used for something? Or is this going to be like a new space station? We didn't know that it was going to be part of Zenithred at that point.
Yeah.
That had to have been a fantastic surprise just to stumble on something like that.
It was.
That's what I
We were just exploring in the cloud, and like beyond the Lagrange, point clouds, and yeah. I saw something, somebody else saw something, and we're like, let's go fly to it, because this is Star Citizen. You see something, you can go fly to it.
Right. Yeah, that would have freaked me out. Jeez, oh, Pete. Yeah, I remember when it was in, though. I was so glad when they put that sucker on the map finally. Yeah. I was like, oh, thank God. Okay. Well, listen, as you guys know, since we don't have any Q&A today, we did talk about that we wanted to do, a giveaway. And we definitely want to do a giveaway today. And the giveaway that we're going to do as you guys know, the Drake is sponsoring the event this week for the first time. It kicked off at the very beginning. And so we're going to do a giveaway for the cutter. So if you're interested in getting a Drake cutter, we want you to put in !Drake, !Drake. I cannot believe that I'm honoring Drake on this show today. So if you are interested in a Drake cutter, if you haven't gotten one already, if you want one to give away to your friends, it is the Drake
Replace
cutter.
your relationship.
Yeah, actually, I think it's the Drake cutter. It's LTI, and I want to say is there a Chairman's Club version of that? Not Chairman's Club, but you know what I mean. What do you call it?
Colors.
Nah, what do they call it when they give you like the skin, like when you buy it with cash and it's like for subscribers?
War bond.
War bond.
What's it called?
War bond.
Yeah, war bond. Yes, war bond. So if you guys are interested in Drake Cutter war bond, this is the time to punch in !Drake, !Drake, if you would do that. And while we're waiting on you guys to punch that in, I want to share a little surprise. So yeah, a little while ago, the folks over at the Star Jump Fleet Viewer were on our show. We had Grim, we've had Ender on too. And they, as you guys know, they introduced the hangar link and also the Fleet Viewer to the community, which was really, really cool. And there's such great people over there. You guys already know, most of you know the hard work that they put in. They get us all excited when they put out their videos and show us what the ships are supposed to do that we don't have. And you're like, dang, how'd they get that ship? But actually, no, they just put great cinematics together. And Grim and his folks have really, really been kind and very sweet to the community with all the labor and hard work they've done to make the dream that we have for Star Citizen a little bit closer to reality. And so I want to announce that they did something very sweet for us. And that was they decided to include us in their lore.
What?
Yeah. So
What?
that was very, very nice of them. And one of the things they did was that right there. The Soul Genesis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
And it is in the
Bravo.
Fleet Viewer. So those of you who dig us and dig our show, hey, you can go to the Fleet Viewer and you can pull up the Soul Genesis. And they did an outstanding job on it. Grim's been working on this for a little while now, and he and I had conversations about the ships coming out, and gave him a list of ships and talked to him about what to produce. And man, he came back and showed me the rough draft, and I'm like, oh dude, this is so cool. And I was just like, wow. I said, I can't wait to show this to my people, but I got to keep it a secret for a couple weeks. And I said, well, listen, he told me he wanted to launch it during IAE, and so he just put it out on Friday. And I know there were a couple people who may have seen it, but we decided to kind of keep it a little secret and surprise our folks. So that was that. So yeah, to folks over at Star Jump Station, we want to say special thank you to you guys, give you guys a shout out as always. If you guys haven't checked out the Fleet Viewer, please do that, because we want you to see it, okay, and check it out. And again, you can add that to your fleet if you'd like. Okay, we've got a lot of people in for this giveaway. Let's take a quick look here. Okay, looks like we got everybody in. All right, !Drake. We're going to close this out. Jade, if you would give me a countdown from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to punch
Start counting down.
it. Mm-hmm.
T-minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Boom. Oh, look who won it. J2, Smiling Viking.
Hey!
J2.
Hey.
Congratulations,
Congrats,
J2.
man.
If you're there, J2, give us a shout. Let us know that you're there. We know J2, so I don't know. Should we give J2 that shout? We know him. I don't know if we should give it to him. There he is. All right, J2 is out there. All right. J2, congratulations. J2, hit me up with a DM when you get time with the email that you want it to go to, and we will get that out to you today. We will get it today. I already got it, so we'll get it out to you today.
Yeah, everyone.
Next, though, before this person starts speaking, because they just blew my surprise, can't wait, impatient. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, oh my God, look who's rating us, Star Jump Ender. Hey,
Nice.
Star Jump
Thank
Ender,
you.
we spoke him up. That is so cool. Ender, thank you so
Into
much.
existence.
For the 19 viewers, thank you, Star Jump interviewers, for coming over and visiting with us. We appreciate you guys. Thank you. Actually, Ender, you came at a very good time. We just finished one of our giveaways where we gave away what did we give away? A cutter. Drake cutter.
Cutter.
I still can't get over the fact that I'm giving away Drake ships on this show. It just breaks my heart.
Of course. It's to replace your origin ship.
Yeah. But in celebration of being able to give away this Drake ship, we want to also give away another Drake ship, if that's okay. Is that okay with you guys? Should we give away another Drake ship?
Yeah,
Of course.
All right.
we'll allow it.
We'll allow it this time. We'll do it this time. Just this time. All right. We're going to do another giveaway. All right. Stand by before y'all start putting stuff in, because might change the keyword. Actually, I'm too lazy to do that. We're going to give away a Drake. What's that thing called?
Corsair?
Corsair. Thank you, Jade.
Oh, nice.
Drake Corsair.
Before they proceed with that, Griff.
Exclamation point Drake. Yeah, go ahead, Kelosal.
I was saying they can always donate that to the Bank of Colossal. Just a side note.
Ender, I hope you had a great stream, man. Thank you so much for sending your folks over and entrusting them to us. They came in at the right time. They're coming in at the time of the giveaway. All right, so if you're interested in a Drake Corsair, again, LTI, Warbond. I think it's got that weird paint, that black paint or whatever, something that comes with it, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
It does.
So, yeah, if you're interested in that, that'll come too. As I was sharing with you guys earlier, I told you that we had been talking with Star Jump Grim about this idea of ships, and one of the other ideas of a ship was to do another ship. And so the one that you see on the screen, he did ex officio. Thank you for that follow. Thank you so much. He did for the Soul Citizens, which is a great representation. I know DK is probably doing cartwheels right now, y'all, because y'all know that's his ship. So he's probably flipping his lid. But there was also another ship that they decided to do. And this one is dedicated to the man that we call the ambassador for Star Citizen, the man himself, our good friend, Fastcart. This one was done specifically for him.
Wow.
And FC, you could tell a little bit about it if you want. There he is.
Sergeant Grimm approached me saying that he wanted to do a ship for me, and this is after he, I think we had him on the show, and he talked about having a tier, a patron tier, for the people who want to have a customized ship. And I was gonna, put in for that, but he approached me and said, "Oh no, because Soul Citizens had done so much for Star Jump, not just him but the whole crew. He decided to do this on his own." And he approached me and said, "Oh, so what are your favorite colors and what kind of logo do you want on it?" And I said, "Oh, I want red and black, but I want it to look elegant and not violent or vicious or anything like that. I wanted to look elegant, and I think he did a good job. And I'm really happy with it. You said that DK did cartwheels. I did wheelies when I saw this.
Yeah, it's a great paint job, great image of the BMM. For those of you who are big into the whole BMM, the customizing, what I really like about it is it shows the possibility. And man, it would be so cool if CIG actually does this type of paint jobs for ships. I think that would be just so cool. And of course, you guys know, for those of you who've met Fastcart, y'all know his card is red. That's one of his logos, his emblems, and I think Grim did a great job with matching it up and everything. So yeah, very, very cool ship. So congratulations.
And this is also in the Fleet Viewer.
Yes, it is in Fleet Viewer as well. So if you want to ride around like Fastcart, there you go. You can add it to your fleet. It's a very, very cool dedication to a guy who's been committed to the community for many, many years, and he's all over the place. We see him on everybody's shows, and he does his Bandu Merchantman yell not just on our show, on everybody's show. So if you guys go to different people's shows and start yelling, maybe a Star Jump team will make a ship for you. All right, we've got plenty of people. Thank you, Fastcart. Thanks for coming in and sharing that with everybody.
No problem. Have fun, everybody.
Okay. We've got everybody in for exclamation point Drake. Those of you who are vengeful. Thank you, vengeful. Thank you so much. You guys are getting us closer and closer. By next week, we'll be at our target. So thank you guys so much for that. All right. I think we've got everybody in. Kalrati, I'm going to pass it on to you this time. If you want to give us the countdown. All right. Don't forget exclamation point Drake. This is it. Going once, going twice sold. We're going to go ahead and do it. On you, Kalrati.
All right, so let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drum roll.
Black Moses,
Wow.
you are the winner. You were here early too.
Boom.
He sure
Way to
was.
go,
Congratulations.
Black Moses. If you're still here, give us a shout.
Gave him some gift subs and everything, I believe.
There's Black Moses there.
Congratulations. Just a word of caution. You fly in the Drake, you die in the Drake, buddy.
Where you at, Black Moses? Did you pop up? There he is. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome. Awesome. Black Moses, you can DM me if you have me in your DM, or you can send it to soulcitizens@gmail.com. Send us the email address that you want that forwarded to, and we will get that to you tonight. I promise you, we'll have it by the morning. You might even have
No
it in a couple of
ejection
hours.
Fly in that Drake.
Colossal says no ejection seats, to keep that in mind. Bryce, thank you for that subscription. Thank you for the 12 months. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. All righty. Let's see, what have we got going on? Oh, we got a couple of things. I don't have Kalrati in there still. Kalrati, you know what? I am just like out of it today. I don't know why. Oh, that's because of the.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, man. I don't want you to feel left out. I got to put you in. Even with my penchant for perfection, I got to have my buddy in there. All right. So listen, we want
to do Q&A.
No, there was none. There was none.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why I told you. You guys did a good job. You answered everybody's stuff. There was nothing for anybody wanted to talk about. Okay.
Nice.
One of the things we want to talk about is our merch. Those of you who enjoy Soul Citizens and you guys have supported us, we have plenty of merch. We've got all types of stuff: glasses, keychains, a whole bunch of stuff, hats, sweatshirts, all types of stuff, mouse pads. So check out our stuff. There's a link there that we'll put out for you guys if you want to support us that way. I do want to double back to this screen here for a moment because we do have an upcoming event coming up, which is this right here. We have our final virtual bar citizen, end of year bar citizen for IAE 2952. This is going to be held on December 3rd. It's going to be the Saturday after IAE, not next weekend, but that following weekend. There's a barcode there. You guys, while it's on the screen now, if you want to scan it, you can register for it. As you guys know, we do RSVP for it because it is a closed event. Last time we held it, we had about 130 people, if I'm not mistaken, that joined us. And we have people from CIG who come out, folks like Jake Acapella, people like Disco, people like Xylo, people like Knight Rider, people like, oh God, there's a whole bunch of people. I can't think of who else coming. Ghost, yeah. A lot of folks show up and hang out with us. This year, this last one for the year, we're doing a little bit differently because we've had requests from folks. Even though we've tried to start the event earlier, we're still missing folks on the other side of the globe. Normally we start this at 3 p.m. Eastern time. This time we're starting 3 hours earlier. So we're going to be starting at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So hopefully we'll be able to get more of the people on the other side of the pond, folks over in Europe, Germany, places like that. We do get people who come, but we're trying to make it a little bit easier so they don't have to stay up so late. And it will be 2 sessions. First session will be from 12 till 4 Eastern. We'll have a 1 hour break. The room will still be open. People can still hang out and talk. But then the moderators are going to come back. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern time, from 5 till 9, we'll be doing the late session. So you can come to either session. You can come to both sessions. But whatever you do, if you want to come, be sure to register for the event because you need to be registered in order to be able to get access to come in and hang out with us for that day.
It's a holiday and it starts it in the universe.
Yeah, it's going to be a long day.
Anthony Tanaka Remembrance Day. Remember Anthony Tanaka. All right. Had to say it.
All right. So there's the barcode. There's also the link there. You guys can click on that link. It'll take you to the same graphic. It'll take you to the link that you can go to as well. Axis, thank you for that subscription. Thank you for 5 months. We appreciate that. Okay. Let me stop talking. I got to bring Kalrati in one more time. This is one last time, Kalrati. We'll drag you in.
Last time.
We're going to drag you in one final time, my friend. All right. Jade, can you talk a little bit about Thursday, please? The Thursday show.
Yeah, so Thursdays are Soul Talk, and that is the show where you, the community, talk with us. So, you want to talk Star Citizen, you want to talk about your purchases at IAE or your non-purchases at IAE or whatever you want to talk about, or, succumbing to the will of Drake and finally breaking down and buying a Corsair. Not like, I did that or anything, but yeah, feel free to come and talk with us about Star Citizen.
Okay, awesome. And let's see, Kelosal, tell them about Voices.
So Voices airs on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 2 p.m. Central. And we basically bring in the team, and the team comes in and talks about certain topics. We usually do things from Reddit and any types of controversial conversations that we can pull up from there. Sometimes we get a visit from the players.
People have been asking for the players to come back too. Just so you know, I've had so many people the last few weeks say, "Where are the players at?" I'm like, "Oh, God.
yeah, they're around, they're around." So we'll bring them from time to time. Sometimes they force themselves into the show, but it comes in. But come join us on Saturday, guys. That's a part of that. Is it the Trio, the podcast, I believe, that we have? Soul Citizens comes in, Soul Voices comes in at 3:00, and then after that is Paul Shelley's group, and then after that we have
Relay.
Eris's with Relay with Eris's group. So come in, guys, and enjoy an entire day of Star Citizen jumping off with Soul Voices, 3 p.m. Eastern.
All right, Kalrati, could you cover next week's show?
Yeah, just like today, so Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be covering the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2952. So your experiences, our experiences, all the discussions about, what's been happening on all the days, all the manufacturers, Drake being the sponsor. You come in, voice your opinions, hear about our opinions, send some questions, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Awesome sauce. So that's our week, and we hope you guys will be able to join us. We want to say thank you to everyone who was here today. Thank you to Star Jump Ender and his folks who came over and visited with us. Congratulations to the winners who won tonight. Thank you for those who subscribed, those who followed. Hope you guys really enjoyed the show today, got some things from it. Again, thank you to the Star Jump team for their dedication and honoring us in the Fleet Viewer. We really do appreciate you guys. You guys just do so much for the community without asking for anything, which is just amazing. So thank you guys so much. For Jade, for Kalrati, for Kelosal, thank you guys so much for being here tonight. As always, appreciate you all. And thank you guys for watching. And hopefully we'll see you guys real soon. We're going to be doing a raid to Lavang Fan, which we've raided him before. Very cool Star Citizen streamer. When you get over there, when you see him, if you like what you see, follow. Tell him you came over from the Soul Citizens. And hopefully we will see you guys, this week, right? So anyway, you guys stay healthy. Take care of yourselves. As always, we're going to tell you peace, love, and soul. We'll see you.
Eat a lot of turkey.
Eat a lot of turkey.